Hey there fans, Swedrick Chelsea here, and we are about to give you guys a review on the July 15th edition of WWE NXT Live on the WWE Network from Full Sail University.
That's right, Swede. So the night began with Jason Jordan and Chad Gable taking on Cutler and Samson. What did you think about that match?
I thought it was a pretty good tag team match to open up the show. Finally, Jason Jordan finds himself a partner that is ready, willing, and Gable. Honestly, I'm going to give this match a pass. It was pretty quick. I didn't get to see much of Gable. I'd like to see more of him in the future. But he seems to be showing early signs of being maybe a Kurt Angle. Maybe I've gone too far by saying that. But first impression, I'm seeing a little bit of Kurt Angle. Maybe more Shelton Benjamin in there. Kind of amateur style background. So a 6 for me. Definitely a pass. A good match. Good tag team work.
Well, I do agree with you. Gable showed some impressive technique in that match. He was doing thing at the beginning that was blowing my mind. It was really entertaining to begin with. And what about that finish?
Awesome finish.
I don't even know how to call it. I'm sorry. Just Jordan threw the guy in the air, caught him. It was beautifully
Gable caught him
done.
with a back suplex for the pinfall.
It was beautiful. One more of us and we make the devil.
Oh, 6.
I gave it a 6 as well.
Copying my scores this week, huh?
Well, you talked first, so I guess I copied.
If I would have talked second, I would have been the one stealing your score.
Yeah.
Now, the second match of the night was Samoa Joe taking on a newcomer from, where was he from? Scotland, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It is impossible.
By the name of Axel Tischer. Tischer. What do you give this match?
Well, I gave a 2 for your pronunciation.
I'm sorry. I'm Irish. I'm not Scottish, man.
It's all good. I gave that match a 4.
Okay.
See, the only thing I have to say about that match is that Fisher had a very nice attire.
Yes, beautiful.
And that Samoa Joe seemed to really getting in shape lately.
Definitely.
He lost a lot of weight. We can see it in his speed. He's a lot faster and everything. The match itself, well, it was what it was. I mean, it was, Samoa Joe versus the Jobber. And I'm not a fan of those kind of match, so that's the reason why I gave it a 4. Okay. What about you?
I'm kind of surprised you gave it a 4. I remember you being a big fan of Samoa Joe.
Yes, I love Samoa Joe.
Can't say that I gave it that much better. I did give it a 5, though.
A little better.
I mean, one thing that I love about Samoa Joe, and this is something that I could say has followed him ever since his days back in TNA, and even before that in Ring of Honor, is that intensity. He's got this mean look in his face. It's kind of like this, and he just never loses that look for a second, whether he's choking somebody out or giving the muscle buster, a move that I think might be banned, hopefully, because of what he did to Tyson Kidd, but accidents happen. But nonetheless, I thought that the crowd was a little dead in this. I thought that maybe those guys could have done more to get the crowd involved. So a 5 for me. The second consecutive, maybe not so much a squash match, but like a showcase match. It was meant to showcase Joe's abilities. So a 5 for me.
5. All right. So the next match, Blake and Murphy taking on Angelo Dawkins and Sayer Fulton. What did you think about that match?
First match I gave a 6. Second match I gave a 5. I'm going to continue the pattern and give this one a 4 because, once again, it was the third consecutive showcase match where I felt like the two jobbers, if you will, were only there just to highlight Blake and Murphy as they were doing their tag team stuff. Of course, they got the victory with that, suplex brainbuster combination into the frog splash. And I can't give it more than a 4, unfortunately, but pretty stellar tag team work, I must say. And you?
It's the typical Blake and Murphy match, I actually gave it a little better than you. I gave it a 5.
Okay.
A 5 is right down the middle. I can't make it fail. I can't make it pass. It was a squash match, like you mentioned. I liked the finish, the running suplex into the frog splash. That was pretty good. One thing I really didn't like is the aftermatch.
When they beat them down at
it proved nothing, and it was really lame. Like Alexa Bliss doing that stupid cheerleading thing.
That was impressive, though. I did like the sparkle splash, the way that they both picked her up. They each had a boot there, and they tossed her in there.
I found it so lame. She crushed a guy's face like she had no idea what she was doing. It could have been like, thank God that she's only like 55 pounds, maybe.
57, I think.
I mean, maybe 57, maybe 58 if she ate a cake before the match. But, I just found it lame, and it proved absolutely nothing.
Here's one thing. I don't want to go too much off topic here, but how come the divas, or the women, or whatever they're called in NXT, how come they're allowed to beat up the guys, but the guys aren't allowed to, like, punch back the women? Like, isn't it equality? Stupid. Like, well,
it's because look at them. You would like do this and they'd break. Like, I'm sorry to say.
Still, man, any woman try to give me a moonsault, I'd knock her out.
And she would freaking deserve it.
Anyway, so this brings us to the main event of the evening, and for all you little hashtaggers out there, give divas a chance. You can't say that they haven't, because we got a divas main event. Of course, the champion Sasha Banks taking on the #1 contender Charlotte. I'm really curious to see your score, Chelsea.
I'll give my score first and then justify. I gave that match a 5.
Okay. Another 5.
I'm feeling very generous with this match. See, the problem with this match is that Charlotte is and will ever be living in her dad's shadow. Mm-hmm. She needs to find her own personality. She would be more entertaining if she wasn't just a rip-off of Ric Flair. She reminds me of Ric Flair with a freaking wig on. And she looks like him like crazy. She needs to find her own personality. I have nothing against Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks is making every single match she's in 5-star. She's the 5-star, basically. 0 for Charlotte, 5 for Sasha.
Is it a 5-star or 5 out of 10? Because this is a 5 out of 10. That's like 2.5 stars.
You have 5 for Charlotte, you have 5 for Banks, and she got her 5-star.
Okay, understood.
Okay, the best part about that match for me, and I have to share it, is when Charlotte was losing her fake hair. I'm sorry, but it's wrestling. Fake hair, fake eyelash, fake nails. It's wrestling! For fuck's sake, like, don't be stupid. For sure, your fake hair are gonna be ripped off. It's not the first time I've seen it. I've seen that match in Philadelphia, I've seen that match in Brooklyn, and I've seen that match today. They still fucking up the match. I didn't like it the first time, I didn't like it the second time, and I for sure didn't like it again today. I'm sorry, I hate watching the same match twice, so imagine 3 times.
Well, we're going to have our censors there cut your little potty mouth out.
Beep, beep. I'm sorry.
But basically, I kind of agree with some of what my wife was saying. For me personally, I got the t-shirt here from the NXT TakeOver tour that they did in Philadelphia. 2 shows in Philadelphia and then the 3rd one in Albany. We did attend those shows. And it was actually the same match, almost move for move what they were doing, including the figure 4 on the outside of the ring. There was the flare flop in the middle, which always got a decent pop, and of course the finish. I actually gave the match a 7. Now,
you're generous.
Why a 7?
Holy shit.
Because here's the thing. As you know, I gave the matches tonight a 6, a 5, a 4. This main event was actually the best match of the night for me, by comparison.
That's sad.
It is sad, even though even before watching the match, I almost knew where it was going. I think I even called the tap-out finish, but that is because I've seen that match before.
I told you last week, actually, the results.
Yeah, but overall, a 7 for me. It was a good work match. It's what you would expect from Charlotte and Sasha Banks.
True, yeah.
And now we're going to see how these divas do on the main roster, because as we know, they just made their debut on Raw.
I'm scared about that, because those Bella made them look horrible.
Indeed. Now, Chelsea, I would just like to get your final thoughts. What did you think about today's episode overall?
You know what? I honestly didn't really like today's episode.
Kind of shows by the scores. Almost.
Yeah. Normally we get a lot more 9 and 8. I'm really a big fan of NXT, and I thought today was lame. It's like they didn't make any effort into the booking. Mm-hmm. And didn't like it today.
Yeah, I kind of agree with what you're saying. For me, what I loved about NXT is the talent that they had, and what I'm talking about was Sami Zayn, who we know is away, as we saw today, also injured. You got Hideo Itami, who's injured. You have Adrian Neville, the man that gravity forgot, who obviously debuted on Raw. You got the Lucha Dragons that are now on Raw. So I find NXT is in the middle of a rebuilding process right now, where you see all these new superstars come up from the Performance Center. They're getting their debut on NXT. So they're in a little bit of a rebuilding process. So I'm going to keep watching and give these young guys a chance.
Oh yeah, of course we'll give them a chance. They have to rebuild. We have to get familiar with them.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, fans, that's it for us. We hope you've enjoyed the show and, of course, our review show as well. And we hope to see you again next week.
Ciao, guys.